Good morning, beautiful people of planet Earth and all other interdimensional entities of love, light, peace, truth, healing, sweetness, kindness, compassion, mercy, prosperity, true love, better. Let's ask for it all. Let's ask for it all. The time is 10:57 a.m. on the 1st of August 2025. Today I celebrate 37 years of migrating to Brisbane, living in Brisbane continuously, 37 years. Never got to travel or go anywhere really, except once briefly to New Zealand and once to the Blue Mountains to visit my friend Margaret, which was a very stressful holiday actually, because my dog got a tick and I was freaking the fuck out and it was off my head the whole time and kind of ruined her experience as well. Sorry, Margaret. So anyway, after that I decided not to even attempt to go on any holidays because things go wrong for me and it's not tenable with my nervous system. It's overwhelming. The woman who wants to travel to all the sacred sites across the world can't even manage a fucking holiday within Australia. Also, money issues. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's a life. I'm alive. Got through the night. Around about 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, I'm not sure, I took off my CPAP mask. It just felt smothering and uncomfortable, and I normally tolerate it well. But I thought, if I feel that bad, it's got to go. So I took it off, checked out the results, 4.1 events per hour. That means 4.1 times an hour that I stopped breathing. I thought, no point continuing on with that for the night if I'm not breathing properly anyway. Fuck it. So I took it off and then my nervous system came online. Literally, I was wired for sound. You could have struck a match off me and started off some kind of nuclear fusion reactor. It was like bing, 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 bing. And it felt spiritual and kind of physical as well, because it's my body fighting as it does for its merest survival. So I didn't freak out. I just lay there going, oh well, if you don't sleep now, you don't sleep. But I think you just stay here warm in your electric blanket and just stay here quiet and just try not to think about things and just drift. And it took about I don't know, 25 minutes or 35 minutes. So I don't even know, but it took a while. I was conscious that it took a while, but eventually I just drifted off to sleep. And I woke up quite early. Just odd, when I'm very, very sick, I wake up early, people of Earth. Very incongruent and odd. But I woke up early and I thought, I feel a tiny bit better today. Anyway, as you can see, I'm embarrassed about yesterday's video. I think some of you might have almost seen my tuchus, my ass. I just didn't care yesterday. I was just, don't know what that was about. But it's up there and I'm standing by it, even with the ass thing hanging out. Oh dear goddess. So today, you'll be proud of me, YouTube audience. Rushing on my voluptuousness. I'm fully dressed. I've got my hair done and got a skirt on, so there won't be any arsages hanging out. Dear goddess. Got my knickers on. Got my boys. Where it's all happening in a far out way. It's sacred space, Titania's realm, where the magic happens and where Mama T just lives moment by moment. breath by breath. How does that song go by the Police? Every move you make, every breath you take, every shimmy you shake, or something like that. I'll be watching you. I'm watching you, watching me, watching you, and it goes round and round and round. In the space-time continuum, on a road to nowhere, whirling through planet Earth, with planet Earth, as we're glued to this planet by our physicality, by gravity, and by attitude alone sometimes. Sheer attitude. And, as we're hurtling through space, one can only wonder, well, what is actually the point of all of this? Really, what is the point? But I'm on a repeat pattern. It came up in my memories. Yes, it came up in my memories. The same repeat patterning, and it's a bit frightening 10 years later. So I'm going to tread very carefully this month, because this month 10 years ago, on the 22nd of August, was my last serious suicide attempt. So, and I've been so unwell that I feel like, it's recycling that drain. We can't go there. I was feeling great a few weeks ago, really great. Like life had finally just, all the lights had just flipped on in my life and had the green light, and I was just go, 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 and all of a sudden I get sick and then I fall into a heap. But that's what I do. Get up, forge ahead, fall down. Get up, forge ahead, fall down. And some of it's, because of my sensitive health issues, and some of it's just fate, and some of it's just, I don't know. But anyway, the world is very strange now. Some of you that are on my channel are well aware of these things. Some of you, like me, are witches or shamans or spiritual, metaphysical people. Some of you are devoutly religious people in your own pathways. So you're all witnessing it. The increase in high strangeness in our world. And part of what precipitated me getting ill, I'm fully conscious of, because it's a major trigger for me. I'm not blaming it all on that, because, there's things like don't always eat all that healthfully, run around in the cold in the night, thinking I'm superhuman and can do anything, and then my lungs remind me that I'm not. It's odd, though, because the last sleep study I had, they said I have got very healthy lungs, and they don't understand why I get sick all the time. Well, that's nice, because according to their machinery and their science, my lungs are healthy, but one little snip of cold air and I'm down for the count. So they can't be healthy. There has to be something radically wrong internally that I'm so reactive like that. So I'm fair pissed off about that, as you can imagine. I'm in a quiet, broiling rage about being condescended to and gaslighted that I'm healthy when I'm not actually all that fucking healthy. But the Epstein files, I think that was the final thing that tipped me down into the abyss. All that ugliness. Why is there so much evil and ugliness in our world, people of Earth? There's no answer for that, is there? We co-create it, or we silently enable it, or we stand with it. Someone gets paid, someone gets loosh fed, someone prospers by it, but it certainly isn't me. haven't prospered by it, and I wouldn't want to prosper by it. Earning wealth by the misery of others, oh, that's a tainted, stained. You'd have to be a whole level of evil to enjoy prospering by that. I feel sick just thinking about it. So, today is going to be another day, and we're going to continue reading from Satan's Choice about the biker, Lorne Campbell, and it's probably going to be just as triggering as yesterday. But it's a journey I've quite willingly put myself on because I must be masochistic and enjoy pain. I must. There's no other rationale for it. It's not logical. But what am I doing by digging into these depths and extricating out all the darkness and ugliness? What am I actually doing, people of Earth? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm looking for the jewels of wisdom and knowledge and power. I'm looking for the bright sparkles of hope, and I'm looking for the incendiary supernova of the psychedelic dreamer. That's me, my nickname. Inspiration of new beginnings, digging into the ugliness of our own past as a collective and our own personal past, as I have done for years. Digging down deep, pulling out all the effluent and shit and just passing it out. Deep down in there lies the core, the jewel, the value, the quintessence of spirit of gnosis. I don't even know. Do I even make sense? I'm looking for reasons. I'm looking for inspiration. There's the word again. To give me reason to stay tethered to this earth, to see how these stories come out in the end, how they transmuted their pain and their ugliness and their suffering somehow into something humorous or kind or life-affirming. So in a way, it bears its own magic and its own reward or prize or gift. Our stories, our isness as we carry on the business of living on planet Healthscape, Gaia, Sophia, Earth, our only true mother. The sun just peeped out, my boys. If the sun keeps coming out, it's not likely, and we have a nicer afternoon, you can go outside. But not yet, don't get your hopes up. I've got a very, very angry, pissed off little cockatiel because I've got worming solution in their water, and like Charlie, they refuse to drink it. So he's been smashing his food bowl and showing me his water and looking at it and saying, "I'm not drinking that, Mama T." Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. You've lived here for 3 months. Actually, no, they haven't lived here for 3 months yet. Anyway, I realised that they were due. 3 monthly you worm them. 13th of May, June, July, 13th would have been August, 30th of August. It'll be 3 months. Look how beautiful he is. He's a stunningly beautiful bird. He's all iridescent looking today. Yes, Takumi is a stunningly beautiful birdie. You see? Life is beautiful, but you're still going to get worm today. I'm not going to renege and give you other water. That's it, kids. The sooner you drink it down, the sooner you can get over it. It's only once every 3 months. Doesn't work with me when my doctors try to give me medicine I don't like either. What can I say? But worms are not good. Worms kill you, so they have to have it. Simples. Probably wouldn't hurt for me to worm myself, quite frankly. Thinking about it. Anyway, I've got to go to... Do you love my little musings, how they just fly around? I've got to go to the dentist. I think part of why I'm ill too is my tooth broke apart. And that's kind of a systemic thing too. Well, I can't go to them over this lurgy because they won't treat me anyway. So round we go, round and round on a dime, going nowhere. In space-time continuum. Trapped in hell, trying to be happy. Good morning. Good morning. And let us continue with chapter 2. Simcoe Street Parade. He told me to call him the Supreme Commander. I wouldn't do that. I called him John. I love this guy. Yeah, I love him. That's the sort of thing I'd do. Anyway. Satan's Choice Motorcycle Club President Bernie Gendon describing tensions with a rival biker. Campbell's mother was living in a second-story walk-up apartment at 38.5 Simcoe Street North, above Berg's Menswear in the city's core, when her son returned from training school at age 14. God, she's a piece of work. She really, I blame her. I do, I agree with her. She was a piece of work. Anyway. Across the street, where the Colonel R.S. McLaughlin Armory and the Queen's Hotel, where, just by walking past the doors, you could pollute your nostrils with the stale odour of spilt beer. I went to Wellington Girls College in New Zealand in Thornlands. It was right next door to the Lions Brewery. Every lunchtime we'd get this strong scent of hops and brewing the beer, permeating our nostrils all through the schools. Oh, they're making beer again. They're making beer. It's not too unpleasant an odour because it was fresh because they were brewing it, but the smell of stale beer when you go past pubs late at night, ugh, not pleasant. Stale beer's good to wash your hair with though. If you're a brunette particularly. Don't ask me where I got that bit of knowledge from, but pick things up along the way. I know, it's all a bit mad, isn't it? Mama T and her madness. I'm going to come back. I'm actually going to take some Ventolin for the first time because I'm feeling it. Just one moment. Right, my boys, Mama's got to take something. Day fucking 5 and I'm feeling it. Right, where was I? Hello? You gonna drink that? You don't want to drink that. I'm telling you, you was gonna drink that. It's good for your health. Yes, that. I know, you're swearing at me. I just got given the death stare from the little boy. You ain't been given a death stare till the little cockatiel's given you the look. Wow. That bird kind of loves me now. He's communicating with me very clearly. Even Rati, she didn't come yesterday because I cancelled because I'm too sick, but and just in case it's something contagious, it probably isn't, but don't want to take the risk of contaminating people. But anyway, it's my usual bronchitis. But so I regret cancelling in a way because probably would have been fine, but you know, because of the COVID thing, you've just got to use your common sense and be considerate of others. So ergo, I got my groceries delivered and I just didn't expose myself to anyone. And but yeah, Rati, when she came last week, she noticed too how he just sits there, little tiny bird, how he even communicates with her, lets her know. And she thought that was delightful. Now, why won't that work? I've had 3 puffs, so it's all blocked now. Can you believe it? By the love of all the gods. Right. I stopped the mullein tea because I was just too much tummy upset and feeling wrung out. I might have some a bit later though again because I've got to keep that up. Drive this thing out of me, people of Earth. Drive it out of me. Right. Where were we? The stale odour of spilt beer. Campbell's father was years behind in child support and his mother didn't have much money for food or anything else. Dinner at Eileen's apartment often consisted of near meatless spaghetti and tomato soup and cream peas on toast. Or other plain things at the low end of the comfort food scale. It's because they were poor though. I mean, I eat like that. I tell you what I did do last night. I had my groceries delivered. I ordered, I can't even think what you call it, stir-fried steak, you know, stir-fried beef. And I made beef and hockey noodles, and I put in ginger, and I cook it in coconut cream. Very fattening, but who cares? I put all the vegetables in it, chop them up. I was so weak making that meal, I thought I was going to faint. I was swaying like a sailor, you know, getting these sea legs. I thought, oh, this is terrible. I should have just ordered a meal. But anyway, I fought my way through it. I cooked it up. I put it in the bowl. I only could eat half of it, had no appetite. That's how weak I am. When the mamati has no appetite, then is the time that I worry. So unusual for me to not have, you know, a voracious appetite. So I ate half of it. I thought, okay, I'm not going to force the rest of it down my neck because obviously my body can't take it right now. It's going to be guided by my body. So I put the rest in the fridge, had my cup of tea, and then I went to bed. And this morning, not long before I started making this video, I heated up the second half of that meal that I couldn't finish last night. Made a cup of tea, had it for breakfast, because I thought I just have to gently, you know, keep feeding gently healthier food. And that was a healthy meal because I put lime juice in it, and I had the coconut, the ginger, chili. So I honestly, but I ate that half a bowl of stir fry. I feel really full, like my tummy's like grinding, like, it's too much. Even that was too much. It's unusual, very unusual. Anyway, I'll be okay. I'm always okay. But yeah, I eat very basic food too. The only time they had steak, it was round steak. The kind you had to pound repeatedly to get soft. She struggled to keep the place tidy, but that didn't take the slant out of the stairs or the wobble out of the furniture. And it certainly didn't make the apartment anywhere good enough for Lorne to bring friends around. I was embarrassed to bring a girl or anyone else to our apartment. I would never take anyone there except close friends. At nights, however, it offered a great view out into Simcoe, as members of the old Phantom Riders Motorcycle Club took over the city's main street with a strange and seductive nighttime parade. I'd sit at the window and watch the bikers go by. Bikers rode together back then. They don't so much anymore. That's the thing I've always enjoyed, riding in a pack. The bikers outside his bedroom window oozed an aura of freedom and power, and of rich lives lived outside society's rules, which had done nothing to benefit the teenaged Campbell. Something about the bikers cruising past his window seemed all-powerful, as if they could tell death itself to fuck off, like old-time circus performers who could stick their heads into the mouths of lions and pull them out again, smiling without a trace of fear. Often he looked out at Bernie Guindon, a bootlegger's son, who would soon help guide Campbell's life. Guindon was just 6 years older than Campbell, but he already seemed to have arrived somewhere special as he cruised past the Conqueror, a World War II tank stationed for posterity on the armoury front lawn. Guindon was easy to spot at the front of the pack with his little black beanie helmet and gold chopper, the wild thing, its handlebars so high that it would tire a weak man to ride at a block. His odd headwear was far more than his own personal fashion statement. In a brawl, Guindon could slip his fist inside it and make his punches even harder. Once, during a particularly spirited brawl, he punched his way right through his own helmet. No comment. Campbell, who didn't know Guindon but yearned to ride with him in his club and feel for himself that kind of power, I thought, holy fuck, that's my life. Guindon was often accompanied by Carmen Neal, a native ironworker, and Reg Hawk. So I just have to reintegrate one moment. And Reg Hawk, a legless accountant who rode a three-wheeler motorcycle converted from a milk delivery vehicle. Wonder how that works. The plastic ghost cartoon crests on the backs of their jackets gave off an otherworldly glow from the street lights and headlights. They have scarves around their necks. They'd have scarves around their necks. I just thought it was the coolest fucking thing I'd ever seen. Sometimes Campbell would see Neal riding in the early hours of the morning, fearless and alone, on guard against a rival club, the Black Diamond Riders. That's interesting. There's Black Diamonds here. It's not a bike motorcycle club. It's a club here for Aboriginal children. They take them out on tours and everything to do with their culture and to support children of Indigenous origin, descent, teach them about, their people, their culture, their law, and it's actually quite lovely. Anyway, not exactly the same thing, but just reminded me of that. My friend's little granddaughter used to go along to their little club, that little Black Diamond Club. She loved it. It was so good for you, Talia. She was also Jewish, Aboriginal and Jewish. Sweet little girl, but completely bloody wild and completely bloody unmanageable. But she loved her Auntie Tanya. Who doesn't love Auntie Tanya? She sits you right back down on your ass when you're out of line. Doesn't always work for me, but people, no matter how old they are, always appreciate when they're told the truth. Carmen Neal was a very proud guy. He rode through Oshawa like a sentry. He set up his Harleys so that flames would come out of the pipes when he turned it on. Ooh, I wouldn't like that. He'd rev it up and flames would come out of the stacks on one side. At 2 a.m, I'd look out and see Carmen patrolling the downtown. "You singing me a song, Kermie?" Gindin felt something special too as he rode down the street at the front of the line of phantom riders, as if on some unspoken mission. He had grown up in the city's gut, helping his father peddle moonshine from their apartment in the back of a store at 502 Simcoe Street South, which was later levelled to make way for a shopping complex. He's let's have a look at him. "What you doing, Cammy?" They're all a bit agitated and irritated because worming in their water. "Well, gotta handle it, boys. Just gotta handle it. Just like I took my first Ventolin today after 5 days, because you've got to handle it. Got to just do it sometimes. Fuck, I hate having to take medicines or drugs. Hate it with a passion. But anyway, I'm slowly turning the corner. Fueled by rage alone at my constant sicknesses. The sun might come out, boys. Let's manifest it. It'd be nice to be sitting outside, wouldn't it? Be nice to be sitting outside in the garden. He heard me say garden, he went, "They love going outside." Yes, you're my beautiful boys. I know, but the weather's a bit shitful today. A bit shitful. It's like that. Got to take the lumps. Yes, I know. It's Brisbane. The better weather's coming. It's on the turn, like my health. Precarious, but on the turn. But look, who's complaining? We had some fabulous days recently. So fabulous that I was almost high from all the beauty and bright sunshine and immaculate joy of it all. So you've got to take the good with the bad. It's just life, man. Gendon's alternated hours of operation with another bootlegger, so the city would never have to be without cheap booze. Often his father overindulged himself, leaving Bernie and his brother Jack, Banana Nose, in charge. For this, the Gendon boys were paid 25 cents each, enough for a bottle of pop and a seat at the movies, where Gendon particularly enjoyed Roy Rogers, The Lone Ranger, and Hopalong Cassidy. "I wanted to be a cowboy," he told me when we met. Actually, I think my father wanted to be although he's a New Zealander, he was fascinated with American culture. He wanted to be a cowboy too. He collected silver dollars. My mother initially had wanted to migrate to America, but ended up in New Zealand. She bitterly resented that sometimes. "I always wanted to go to America." Strange thing, isn't it? Anyway, my mother did get to visit America in 1979, but my father never got to go there. I never got to go there. I could have gone with her in 79, but I was 14 and freaking out about my schooling, so I got billeted with the neighbours down the road instead by my choice. Well, I thought it was my choice. But anyway, it's all good. Places I'll never see and never go and never be, and wait for me for the next incarnation. I'll be overcompensating for this one, by the gods. If I come back to planet Earth and the next time, I'll be dangerous. I'll be wanting it all, and I'll be wanting it all yesterday. And too much robbed from me in this life. I mustn't think like that though. I must practice mindfulness and gratitude. Get back into my centre. Breathe, albeit badly. Yes, everything's perfect in my world and I'm happy. Self-hypnotism's a thing, people of Earth. Anyway, yes, what would I do in America anyway? Could have gone to Alaska. Maybe not. I mean, you have to laugh. Sometimes customers would urge Bernie and Jack to fight each other for their drunken entertainment. Oh, that's just awful. Jack was 10 months older, but Bernie was clearly the better fighter. That's how I learned to fight. They'd get me and my brother to fight and say they'd give a quarter to the guy who won, which, by the way, 25 cents got them a bottle of pop and a seat at the movies. Jesus. Cheap tricks played on kids. Could be worse. Could have had cheap tricks played on you your entire life and had to do it for free. You motherfuckers. Where am I? Ooh, grounding myself. I'm not joking. Quite serious. Grounding myself. Gendon wasn't too impressed with the booze-seeking customers who frequented his home, which helps explain why he was close to being a teetotaler in later years. Every day you'd see guys coming into the house. Guys would be fighting with my father. He also wasn't too impressed by the local cops who showed up expecting discount or gratis liquor. Don't get me started on that one. He and his father were stopped once by a police officer while picking through the remains of a burned electrical store, looking for something worth lifting. The cops seemed ready to arrest them until they recognised Gendon's father. I found out later the old man used to pull B&Es, break and enters, with the guy. The guy was a cop now and drove us home. That's what I meant by don't get me started. Anyway, what did impress Gendon when he was a boy were motorcycles, and that feeling would never leave him. When Gendon was just 15, a member of the Golden Hawks named Bill let him ride his 1955 Harley Davidson with Bill on the back, 38 kilometres from Peterborough to Pontypool. Gendon's own first bike was a British AJS single-cylinder model, and he soon became good enough to leap cars and trailers as a member of Canada's Hell Riders, a trick riding troupe nicknamed the original crash test dummies. So it had been a big deal for Gendon when he was allowed to become a hang-around for the Golden Hawks in 1959, and then a full member at just 17 years of age. It wasn't like today. It was totally different. You didn't have to kiss ass. You didn't have to strike, become a probationary member. They had to get to know how you rode a bike. So it was all actually about the bike more than the other affiliations. It was a time when clubs formed and folded quickly, and Gendon was still in his teens when he helped found the Phantom Riders Motorcycle Club. By day he worked on the assembly line at General Motors. Just checking my boys. Good boys. They're such good boys, they really are. But at night, as head of the pack of Phantom Riders, Gendon was free of bosses and schedules, making his own laws and daring anyone to say otherwise. We always felt powerful. You'd go by the old Cadillac Hotel and all the rubbies, and nobody ever knocked us. If they did, we'd be knocking them. You always felt like you had a club behind you, a bunch of guys that were friends. One of those friends I'm watching you, little Kermie. One of those friends was Wayne Willerton, a fellow General Motors assembly line worker who had been making Chevelles and Novas ever since he dropped out of school at age 16. Willerton felt transformed at night as he tied a dirty rag over his head and pulled out his dental plate, leaving a tough guy gap where he'd lost 4 teeth. Jesus. Men see that as like a mark of passage or a mark of pride, and it's actually revolting. I lost my teeth young, abscesses, but it's horrible. It's horrible to be toothless, people of Earth. That's just how I feel about it anyway. You're not toothless, are you, Kermie? No, he says. I have a beautiful red, powerful, sharp, hypodermic, needled beak, just ready for you, Mama T. Okay, Angry Birds. What am I stuck on here? By the gods. Atop his 750 Norton Commando in Gendon's Simcoe Street Parade, Willerton felt like a somebody. I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like we ruled the world. I just felt the power. I get it. It's a nice feeling. It's a nice feeling to feel on top of the world. Power wasn't something the Willerton men had been familiar with Since Wayne's father had arrived in Canada at age 14 to work on a farm near Port Perry, north of Oshawa. Williton's father was a Barnardo boy, a ward of an organisation started in Victorian times to transport ragged orphans and neglected and disabled children from London's slums to Canadian farms, i.e. colonialist slave labour. The original goal of founder Thomas Barnardo was noble. Was it? Was it really? But by Williton's father's time, the organisation's practices were often shoddy or worse. Barnardo boys worked for near slave wages, and many later complained of physical and sexual abuse. For his part, Williton's father arrived in Canada with no more than a black briefcase and a severe limp from the polio that had left one leg shorter than the other. The experience left him with bitter memories of making just $5 a month and having nothing more than a Bible to read under a bare light bulb. Williton's father also harboured severe misgivings about people in authority, those who purported to be looking out for him. I get it. He used to always say, "The Queen's shit stinks like the rest of us," Wayne Williton recalls. And indeed, it did, and no doubt still does, carried through her line. I'm watching the sun slowly creep out, and I'm happy about it, but I'm circumspect because it's sliding away, creeping backwards and forwards, and I actually do want to put my boys outside today, so I need it to be a bit sunnier, a bit warmer. Impressive as his club was in their late night parades, Gendon dreamed of creating something far bigger than the Golden Hawks. He wanted to eclipse the semi-mythical head of the Black Diamond Riders, a Toronto biker known as Johnny Sombrero, or Sombrero for short. Got hunger pangs. It's a positive sign, isn't it? Not sure though. Not sure. There's a lot going on internally and I'm not sure about any of it. Huh. I whistle better than you, Mama T. Damn straight you do, red-beaked boy. Tell it how it is. Keep it real. Represent. You is a real birdie. Mama's just a try-hard wannabe. I'll never be able to fly like you whistle like you, or sing like you, or be cute and adorable like you. Just kidding. I can be cute and adorable, just can't do the other things. Got to know your limitations in life, people of Earth. But I do a different kind of flying when I do my mad wild mosh. And I love it when everyone flies with me. To you, Alex, and to the bands that play that song for me so we can do the wild flying shamanic mosh. Rock and roll, babies. Rock and roll. Getting a little bit too old for it now, but I'm still in denial about that. So I'll keep doing it for as long as I can. Just saying. Sombrero was nothing if not a cocky adversary for Gindin and his followers. His real name was Harold Barnes, but he preferred to be addressed as Supreme Commander of the Black Diamond Riders, apparently not blushing as he lifted Dwight D. Eisenhower's Second World War title. I never seen him with a sombrero, Gindin said in an interview years later. Whatever you thought of Supreme Commander Sombrero's name and title, you had to be impressed by his spunk. He once wrote to the Queen asking her blessing for himself and his minions to rid Canada of outlaw motorcycle clubs except for the Black Diamond Riders. Much like seamen in centuries past would seek a monarch's blessing to rid the high seas of pirates. For reasons Her Majesty kept to herself, she declined to get involved. That, my friends, is an exercise in a grandiose narcissism, but also chutzpah. Sometimes you've got to fake it till you make it when you want to be the Supreme Commander, you understand. Heavy weighs the crown. Things got off on the wrong foot between Gindin and Sombrero and deteriorated from there. He told me to call him the Supreme Commander, Gindin says. I wouldn't do that. I called him John. In 1961, even without the sought-after Royal Charter, Sombrero was in the midst of his campaign against lesser biker clubs. The struggle was for status and bragging rights, since there was nothing to actually take from the other clubs. It's all insane, isn't it, the whole thing? This rivalry and hatred and competition. It's mad and insane. Very, very mad and insane. But the fear and the threat is palpable and real. Some rival clubs have been known to go out of their way to try to kill each other. I'm sure it's a bit more complicated, the reasons that lead to those kind of turf wars. I'm sure it's got a lot to do with the drug trade as well, but mad and insane. Ultimately, the final outcome of all of that always ends up the same way anyway. There's no winners. There's no winners in any of that. Trust me on that. Anyway, I just find it all very amusing. In Sombrero's world, you defined yourself by your rivals and by your ability to send those rivals running in fear. Sombrero had shut down a biker club of teenagers called Satan's Choice, yanking their patches of a grinning Satan from members' backs. Then he set his sights on the Golden Hawks, Gendon's first club. Young bikers who had never heard of the Battle of Hastings or the War of 1812 would later learn about the treachery that took place at a field day one afternoon in 1962 at Pebblestone Park outside Oshawa. It was supposed to be a fun event with bikers partying, carousing and racing around on their motorcycles. Gendon thought it odd that members of the Black Diamond Riders were not joining in the play, but instead carving down branches from trees in the park. Gendon alerted fellow Golden Hawks that something nasty was afoot that afternoon, but as he recalls, he was told they would never do that at a field day. It was unheard of. A bit like the 7-Day War in Israel started. No, wrong war. The Yom Kippur War. The Israelis did not think that they could possibly ever invade and attack, knowing that it was such a holy, sacred day. And anyway, I'm sure it's more complicated than that. We won't go into Israeli-Palestine politics right now, because that's another seeping, ugly war, genocide without end. And there's fault on both sides, and they're both fucking evil, and I hate them both right now. And I'm speaking about this as a Jew, albeit a bit of a lapsed Jew, but nevertheless, it's disgraceful what's going on. Anyway. Not long after his warning was dismissed, the Black Diamond Riders charged, doing passable Mickey Mantle impersonations with their freshly cut clubs. One Golden Hawk suffered a brain hemorrhage. Pardon me. Bear in mind, most of these, people are just teenagers. They're just kids. It's just ridiculous. At least one member barricaded himself in a car. Well, why wouldn't you? Others sprinted for safety. At the end of the day, Sombrero had a fistful of Golden Hawk patches. And the once proud Golden Hawks had been rechristened the Chicken Hawks. Gendon answered by forming a new club he called the Phantom Riders. Many of the members, like Wayne Willerton, were recruited from the General Motors assembly line. Tells me a lot about that General Motors assembly line that their employees were so fucking disenfranchised and restless that they were looking for empowerment outside of the working hours tells me a great deal about that. Anyway, our whole society has been fragmented and tortured and defragmented for decades now. So, what can I say? Soon Gendon heard that Sombrero had placed a bounty on them, offering a case of beer for every Phantom Rider patch that was delivered to him. After what they did to the Golden Hawks in '62, when they did take some patches, I had a hard-on for them. Hope for Gendon. Oh, the sun's shining through. I don't trust the skies. Not yet, Kermie, not yet. Hope for Gendon came in the unexpected form of a young movie maker. It was in 1965 that Gendon got wind that director Donald Shabib planned to make a film about outlaw biker clubs. That was the year I was born. Shabib sniffed around the vagabonds, paradise riders, and Canadian lancers with no success. They either weren't interested or their clubs weren't big enough. I know, little man, you want to go outside, I know. It could happen. I won't get you too excited though, because the weather's a bit flubbery still. All right. Willerton recalled years later in an interview that they weren't interested or their clubs weren't big enough. Gendon was different. He loved the idea of being in a film. Gendon was able to convince the Canadian Lancers, the Plague, and the Apostles from the Toronto Oshawa area, the Throttle Twisters from the Galt Hespeler area, and a few Red Devils from Hamilton to come together to form a super club worthy of the camera's attention and perhaps even Sombrero's fear. For almost half a year they struggled to come up with a suitable name for the new club. Gendon liked the sound of Satan's Choice, as did the other club presidents. He had been friends with the Satan Choice's original founder, Don Norris, since they were teenagers, and Norris was ecstatic when Gendon arrived at his door with the presidents of the Canadian Lancers, Plague, Apostles and Throttle Twisters and a request. Says Gendon, we wanted to amalgamate the four clubs under one set of colours, and he wanted the SCMC, Satan's Choice Motorcycle Club, colours to be the banner they would all ride under. I told him we would never ever lose it to the Black Diamond Riders. As Norris remembers, I was ecstatic. It pulled me out of a funk. The folding of the original SCMC had depressed me for some time. I knew if anyone could pull off a resurrection of SCMC, it would be Bernie. With that, Gendon's new mega club stitched the image of a grinning devil on the backs of their jackets, a blunt statement that his pack of bikers weren't to be fucked with. It was also an unmistakable fuck you to Sombrero. That summer, when the Satan's Choice arose from the dead, Shabib and his National Film Board camera crew turned their story into a documentary, although some members had hoped for a feature film like The Wild One that would play in movie theatres. They were everywhere we went, Willerton recalls. They seemed to be having as much fun as us. If The Choice was somewhat of a media creation, that wasn't a first for bikerdom. As Hunter S. Thompson wrote in Hell's Angels, massive publicity about the biker world in the mid-1960s changed both the nature of policing and the biker subculture as well. The Hells Angels, as they exist today, were virtually created by Time, Newsweek, and the New York Times, Thompson wrote in 1966. Back then, the Angels spelled their first name Hells with an apostrophe S, but it changed along the way to Hells without an apostrophe. After a protracted internal debate about how many hells might exist. I was going to say surely only one, but Mama T's lived through several hells already in this incarnation, so they might be right. There might be a multitude of hells. But if there's a multitude of hells, of baby girls and baby boys, there will also be a multitude of heavens. Spiral up, spiral down, search for the 0 point field where everything is cosmic bliss and balance and equilibrium, equanimity, and Zen zone, or peace. Anyway, you can tell I've died too many times in my life. Time people of Earth. You can tell. I know. Hells happens. There was something my angels just kicked in and said, don't be negative, Tanya Aarons. We always had your back. I know. But you really, really, really stretched it to the final fucking 11th hour moment, didn't you? Could have done without that. Could have done without that. They're kind of chuckling, but nervously and uncomfortably, because angels don't like it when you argue against their judgments. They don't like it. They're in charge. Actually, there is only one in charge, and you are that energy's messengers. Know your place in the cosmos. I'm right though. They know I'm right about that. There was something fitting about life imitating art and the rebirth of the choice. How many cosmoses, they just asked. How long is a piece of string flowing into eternity? On that last near-death breath ride you took me on. They're nodding. They love playing with me. They really do. I'm their favourite lab rat. They love playing this game with me. Your true beloved one is coming. Yeah, you've been saying that for 60 years too, by the gods. I don't believe you anymore. I'm over it now. No, I'm not. Not really. Sucker. I'm a sucker. And a wheezer. And a believer. And a chooser. And a thriver. There was something fitting about life imitating art and the rebirth of the choice. Like most kids of his generation, Campbell had seen The Wild One, starring Marlon Brando and Lee Marvin. He especially loved the opening, with a rumbling pack of motorcycles riding right at the screen as if attacking it head on. He wasn't so impressed with Brando's main character, who seemed more pouty than menacing, even though Brando became the public face of youthful rebellion when he asked, "What are you rebelling against?" So when he was asked, "What are you rebelling against?" and he replied, "What do you got?" There's a lot to rebel against. Oh, little doggy won't cross the street and stopped in the middle of the road protesting. Sweet. I love dogs. I miss my dog. Today's the anniversary of his death. 2 years. I'd say I want my dog back, but I don't want any zombie ghost dog. Stay in Valhalla, Beauregard, and wait for me. For Campbell and many in the outlaw biker world of 1%ers, the estimated 1% of motorcyclists who don't feel particularly confined by the law, the real... I have to laugh at that, sorry. Just another label they give themselves. The real star was Marvin's character, Chino, who rode an American-made Harley Davidson as opposed to Brando's British Triumph. More importantly, Marvin's character was based on a real-life biker, Willie Wino Faulkner, a member of the old Booze Fighters gang. "That's the guy in that movie," says Campbell. "Marlon Brando acted like a faggot, a sissy. What are you rebelling against? What do you got? What's that?" While he loved the movies, Campbell wasn't big on superfluous drama. His screen heroes while he was growing up weren't moaners and criers and hand-wringers, and they didn't speak unless they had something to say, like Lee Marvin in The Wild One, and Cat Ballou, and John Wayne, and just about anything. They were characters who played the hands they were dealt without belly aching. And when Campbell's on-screen heroes gave a warning, they didn't repeat it. So it was with considerable pride that Gendon rode up to Sombrero's clubhouse near Steeles and Yonge in Toronto's North End as the head of the new, bigger than ever, Satan's Choice. Backed up by some of his... Oh, it's a scrub turkey. They all come to my window. What are you doing? There's nothing for you there. Go on your bike. Flutter away. Go on. Crazy birds. They all treat me like I'm their pet, don't they? Sacred space. It really is the fairy realm, and I'm their pet. I'm just trying not to die here and in service to the birdies and my YouTube audience reading the stories. Mama T said no. Oh, he's stubborn, that one. It's a stubborn bird. One day I'm going to turn you into turkey stew. She says, don't bother, Mum, I'm full of worms and I'm stringy. I wouldn't want to kill anything anyway. Hate killing things. That's why I gave up fishing. It was awful. Hated watching those fish slowly die. Horrible. Right, where were we? Happy thoughts. Let's think about something happy. Backed up by some of his tougher members, pardon me, Gendon marched up to the Supreme Commander and reintroduced himself. We went into the clubhouse and we told him, you'll never take our patches again. Sombrero seemed strangely uninterested, looking behind Gendon. There's a rabbit on the front lawn, he said. Gendon suspected this was a ploy by Sombrero to get him to turn around so Sombrero could jump him. I'm not turning around for that sucker thing. He kept his eyes on Sombrero, but his head shifted ever so slightly. In his peripheral vision, he saw a bunny go hopping by. Tough guys. Who doesn't love a bunny? Campbell was at a dance at Gord's, a go-go on the eastern outskirts of Oshawa. He was 17 and living on his own, hanging with a close group of friends. One of his buddies had been beaten up that night by 3 guys from Hamilton, and Campbell was now circling the building, looking to exact revenge on the trio. When he returned to the front of the building, he saw 2 of his childhood heroes. Excuse me. Oh, here we go again. Bernie Gendon and Carmen Neal. It's kind of weird because I always thought Carmen was like only a female, girl's name. A man named Carmen. Not heard that before. Learned something new. There were also the 3 guys from Hamilton he was looking for, and they were clearly talking about something serious to the Satan's Choice leaders. Right, people of Earth, that's the end of chapter 2. And the sun's come out. It's looking promising. I'm going to go out and check out how warm it is out there. If it's salubrious enough for my boys, they're going outside. And if not, not. But thank you for putting up with my weird, quirky Mama T ways. The sneezing, the burping, the fetching, the twitching, the anxiety, the calming down, the grounding, the mindfulness, the rage, the fighting back from the brink of, well, not quite death, but not feeling too hot either, And the moving through life one day at a time, one moment at a time, one breath at a time. It's a force to be reckoned with, but it is what it is, people of Earth. Bing, bam, boom, babies. And no doubt, all being well and the gods smiling upon me, I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully with a little bit more salubrious, sparkling health. Health is wealth, people of Earth. More than ever as you age, health is wealth. So what can I say? It's a beautiful day. Make love to your true beloved ones. If you haven't got lovers or sweethearts or someone to canoodle with, love yourself. Love your family, your friends, your tribe, your community, your pets, your earth, your garden, and carry on being awesome. Bye for now.